Hello, hello, everybody. This is the first time I've done a live for a while. I'm going to give it 1 minute because I said I would start on the 30-minute thing. But anyway, so you can tell me you are here in the chat at some point if you are here. But we're going to get going in a minute. And I've never done one of these before. Hello, yay, we've got somebody watching. So we've got one here at least. Pop out dashboard, send feedback, share. Maybe I could share it. All right, now I'm just going to go live. Okay. Well, here we are. Mars has been in Cancer since March the 25th, and I had not got round to recording this until March the 27th because I had to do my taxes. And good evening, how are you doing? And hello. And so I thought it was time to get my red on and do a Mars in Cancer video and look ahead. So Mars went into Cancer on March the 25th and will be there till May the 20th. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about what Mars in Cancer means. Well, Mars is kind of our drive, our energy. He's the warrior, but he's also the guardian, the protector. And he likes to move fast. He's very direct, very action-oriented. And Cancer is the sign of the moon. And Cancer is super sensitive. Cancer is protective, high Clyde, and is very much about safety, security, self-care, self-love, family, all that kind of stuff. Please ask questions in the chat if you want, and I'll try not to get too distracted. I'm not used to doing these lives, but this is fun. Why not? And so Mars is not entirely comfortable in the sign of Cancer. Okay. Because Mars does like speed, he likes direct action. And if you've been following along with my posts, we know that Mars has been for 7 months in Gemini, slowed down in a fast-moving sign, and he's been out of bounds. You have Mars in Cancer. Well, there's nothing wrong with Mars in Cancer because I'll talk about what it means in a minute. But Mars does like fast energy, and in Cancer, he's slowed down a little bit. He's generally quite assertive, and he kind of has a bit of an uphill battle in the sign of Cancer. But not only that, because Mars has been in the sign of Gemini for 7 months, we have to look at each transit on their own. It's not just like Mars in Cancer is always just Mars in Cancer. Mars is moving really slowly because he turned retrograde on January the 12th, but his retrograde was a long one, and he's not got up to speed yet. So he's still moving slower than he would like anyway, from our perspective. And the sign of Cancer also kind of asks him to kind of slow his roll a little bit. Cancer kind of douses Mars' fiery flame a little bit as well and move more carefully. Cancer is kind of a very careful sign, if you like, really. And Mars in Cancer can be very sensitive to both criticism and emotionally very sensitive, but it's also very sensitive to the needs of others. And I always think Mars in Cancer is a kind of a very protective guardian figure, more than the action warrior Cancer Mars that we normally have Mars, say, in his own sign of Aries or even in Scorpio. In Cancer, he gets very guarded, very protective. I also, in one of my Facebook feeds the other day, I described Mars as very much a feed me kind of energy, and feed others too, or nurture. Feeding, nurturing, caring for, loving. because Cancer rules the stomach. And I don't know about you, but as soon as Mars went into Cancer, I actually started to feel really hungry. I've wanted more chocolate since Mars moved into Cancer. And I think it's partly because Mars is moving so slowly. He's going to be in the sign for 8 weeks, almost 2 full months, and very toned down. So the best use of this Mars journey through Cancer, from my perspective, is a lot of self-care and nurturing and protection and shoring up your home, perhaps doing a bit of spring cleaning and really kind of looking after your family and home, and etc. So you may need to fight for, the rights of somebody in the family or a domestic situation. It's definitely about defending what you care about with Mars in Cancer. So that's the best use of it. So I'm going to go through some of the major aspects. And I've just realized that doing these lives, I don't know how to share screens. So I'm just going to talk. Maybe I need to do it a different way in future, but this is fine. Okay, so on March the 30th, there's some major aspects, and I'm only looking at the major aspects that we've got this month. March the 30th, Mars is going to trine the planet Saturn. And if you've been following along again, Saturn has only just moved into the sign of Pisces after a long time in Aquarius as well. And so this trine to Saturn is the first major aspect. And really, it's actually in a grand water trine, which I can't show you on here, but you'll just have to listen to my words. With Haumea, which is the goddess, the creation goddess of Hawaii, and represents birth and create pure creation. And she's in Scorpio, and the south node in Scorpio is at 4 degrees as well. So we have Mars at 2 degrees by the time the trine to Saturn happens. So we've got this grand water trine making us very emotional still. You thinking like, oh my goodness, more emotion. But it's Saturn as well. And Mars and Saturn is a bit like one foot on the accelerator and one foot on the brake. And it's kind of push, really push through. And in water signs, this can feel a little bit wady, like we're wading at the bottom of the swimming pool, getting good exercise, right? But it's about this slow push forward and tuning into your intuition and your knowing and your feelings. So I'm quite liking this Mars Saturn trine. It's probably the best aspect of um, between Mars and Saturn that you can have, to be quite honest. And in water signs, it's going to be quite pleasant. So then on on April the 2nd, it doesn't make a major amount of aspects, but on April the 2nd, Mars will aspect the nodes. And I think that's kind of important because we're heading into the eclipse season, and eclipses are new and full moons that are um, conjunct the nodes. And so that's what makes them eclipses. And Mars will sextile the north node and trine the south node. And the south node's in Scorpio, of course, which is also Mars ruled. So we've got this super sensitive, protective Mars kind of leading us into eclipse season, which starts on April the 20th. He'll be in the sign of Cancer for eclipse season. And so we're going to get an indication, a little bit of a push about what we're heading towards, with the North Node in Taurus being about sustainability and values. And so I've been harping on about that for a long time. But, you might be thinking about, about your home, about what you really value in your home life. And when I say home, I don't necessarily mean the actual house. I mean the whole aspect of your home life. And so, what do you want to shore up? What do you want to protect? What do you want to care for? There's a lot of protection energy for this Mars journey through the sign of Cancer. Then on April the 8th, Mars is actually going to sextile Mercury. Mercury by that point will have moved into the sign of Taurus, I believe. Will he have moved? Oh, that was a weird one. Oh, okay. I see. So I'm trying to look at the aspects and okay, that's better. April the 8th, Mars in Cancer will sextile Mercury. Mercury will have left Aries, where he is today as I record this, moved into the sign of Taurus. Mercury is going to be slowing down for his retrograde at that point as well. So Mercury, he's still moving fast, but he's heading towards a retrograde because all the retrogrades, Mercury retrogrades, are in Earth signs. So we get Mars protective in Cancer, Mercury in Taurus, talking about our values and sustainability again. Mercury will have just been over that North Node. And this is earth and water. So this is really about sculpting something that's lasting and making something really stable. Okay, that's a good Taurus word. And stable in your home life, particularly, I'm going to say. So that's the next aspect. On April the 12th, as you can see, Mars does not make many aspects at all, really. But April the 12th is kind of going to be an interesting day because Mars opposes Centaur Pholus. And Pholus is in Capricorn. And Pholus kind of has a bit of a plutonic energy in Capricorn. It's taking the lid off our institutions and those leaders and powerful kind of energies. And I'm kind of thinking that on April the 12th, Mars opposing Pholus, and especially leading into it, we could get some real big news, some kind of almost quite shocking kind of energy. But I have to say, Mars has picked up speed by this aspect. He's back to moving at his fast pace. So things are going to start moving faster. Things are going to start being revealed faster. It's kind of like Pandora's box's lid is going to come off because we're also heading into the eclipse season. So, on April the 15th, Mars will actually sextile asteroid Lilith in Virgo. She's the talk to the hand asteroid, the kind of rebellious teenager. And she is in Virgo, the sign of the Marys, as I call it, the sign of being whole unto herself, but also the sign of criticism. And there's going to be a little bit of disruption then, a little bit of discord, and saying, no, I'm not going to take this anymore. And then on April the 23rd, Mars will sextile Mercury for the second time in Taurus because Mercury will have gone retrograde by then. And that's going to be an interesting one. So let me just have a quick look at it, see if there's anything in the chart I want to say about it. Oh, goodness. I am not very good at this, not when I'm not screen sharing. Anyway, I'll just talk about it. So again, it's that thinking the mind about our values. When things are kind of moving into this eclipse season, Mars is now moving faster, Mercury's going retrograde. We might have to revisit something because of what's kind of the Pandora's box that might have been opened as Mars opposes Pholus around April the 12th. And then on April the 29th, Mars will sextile Uranus in Taurus, and that could be a bit of a shocking day, to be quite honest. There could be a little bit of a surprise or a shock, especially because we're right in the middle of eclipse season as Mars sextiles Uranus in Taurus. And with Taurus being about our values and our monetary systems and things, there could be a little bit of a wobble around that time. Then on May the 4th or 5th, depending on where you are in the world, Mars will go back in the bounds of the sun. The planets all move along the ecliptic from our perspective. If you ever sit and watch in the night sky, it's actually our Earth that's turning, but it appears that all the planets move along this same one line. It's really interesting to track. And Mars has been way out of bounds since October, and acting very eccentric and out of character. And as we hit there's an eclipse on May the 6th, a lunar eclipse. Mars goes back in bounds just before that and starts to be tethered to the ecliptic and the other planets, if you like. And so that's going to be a real interesting point as well. That's kind of a liminal place. Mars is coming back in after this intense, by that point, it'll be over 8 months of retrograde and out of bounds kind of energy since last October. And he'll be going back in and saying, okay, this is what I'm bringing you now. So watch out for that day as well. I'll just finish up. There's a couple of other aspects before Mars leaves the sign of Cancer. On May the 9th, he's going to sextile the planet Ceres in Virgo, and there could be some news around climate change for sure at that point. And that feels a little bit stormy to my mind. Water, Cancer, Virgo, Earth, there could be some more storms going on. Then on May the 11th, Mars is going to square Eris, and Mars in Cancer square Eris in Aries. That's going to shake things up a little bit. All right, look for the news on that day. Then on May the 15th, Mars is going to trine the planet Neptune. That's probably the nicest aspect of them all. So May the 15th will be just coming out of eclipse season. That's watery, emotional, but also very tuned in and very tuned into your knowing and your intuition. And the last aspect Mars will make before leaving the sign of Cancer is a square to Haumea. Haumea, that remember, I started with this grand water trine with where Mars is at the moment as we record this on March the 27th. Mars will square off to Haumea. Haumea in Scorpio, which is Mars ruled traditionally, is going to say, what are we birthing now? What are we creating? We've just come through the most amazingly chaotic times. March, which we're finishing up as I record this, has been just a mess, to be quite honest. I'd love to know in the chat how March has been for you. It's been kind of crazy for moi, and and I think when by that time Mars is going to leave the sign of Cancer and is going to move into Leo, where he's a lot more comfortable. I'm not saying we're done because we still have a lot of planetary sign changes this year. And in July, we have the Venus retrograde. I'll be doing my Venus retrograde class, but we also have Pluto as Venus stations retrograde. We also have Pluto squaring the nodes. That's going to be an awkward time as well in July. But honestly, by the time Mars leaves the sign of Cancer, and we've moved out of the eclipse season, I honestly think things are going to settle down a little bit. We'll be starting some retrogrades again. Like I said, we've got the Mercury retrograde coming up in the sign of Taurus. And to give you some dates, that is actually starting on April the 21st at 15 Taurus, very close to Uranus. and Mars will station direct on May the 14th. So, sorry, Mercury. So, Mercury will be retrograde the whole time that Mars is in Cancer. And then we've got the outer planet retrograde starting, and I'm happy about that. I remember when we've had all the planets direct for some time, since Mars stationed direct in January, actually, and everybody was like, "Go, go, go! This is going to be exciting." Well, I think it's been anything but exciting. Personally, I think it's been chaotic and challenging, and I am looking forward to planets slowing down from our perspective. All right, so I am going to pull a card for Mars in Cancer. And if there's no questions, I just thought I'd do this one, a quick live video. It's quite fun doing it live, but normally I will be recording them because somehow the quality's better and everything. So, and I can share the screen. There might be a way. Well, I like this. Okay, so this is Ace of Cups. This is the card for Mars in Cancer. So even though he starts off slowly, and even though traditional astrology would say that um, he's in his fall in Cancer, I'm kind of liking this journey through Cancer. Most of the aspects are not too challenging. Mars is slowed down after that chaotic time in the sign of Gemini, and yours was not too bad. Oh, good. And this is the Ace of Cups, and the cups are the water sign, so Cancer and emotions. And this is kind of a new start emotionally. So if maybe it's just people like me who've got a lot of mutable signs that have had chaos through the sign. Yes, new emotional beginnings, exactly. And I kind of like that, to be honest. So, twin boys in June. Oh, yeah, probably twins come quite early. I'm doing pretty well, thank you, Melissa. We've got a bit of blue sky coming through now. Thank heavens. We had more snow, and I've got the SADS a bit, SAD, seasonal affective disorder. It's been so grey and long. But twins, that's really exciting. Twins often come a bit earlier, right? So, yeah. So we'll see. That's Gemini's, the twins, so probably coming in Gemini season. So lovely to have you here. Thank you for watching live with me. I will get this kind of noted up and everything, and I might do some more of these lives at some point as well. But this one, I was just like, oh, I finished my taxes. I've got time to do a live. So I feel like I've got an emotional new beginning, to be quite honest. Taxes done. So I will see you online. Much love to you all.